Hi, sweethearts. So, today, I don't know what I'll be reading or who I'll be reading, but I think it's going to be like a love reading, because that's what I'm sensing, but I'm a bit apprehensive. And almost like mellow. And it's very strange. So that's probably the energy that I am. No, it's not probably. That's definitely the energy that I'm tapping into. And this is just, I just turned the deck over. So this isn't actually part of the reading, but at the same time, this is actually part of the reading. It's something about emotions and then going in and out, like waves, clashing, like waves, as it says. But I was really mesmerized by this. I was looking at it for ages. It wasn't that long, but it felt like it. And it was just like, I don't know. It was blissful. But I feel a little bit like I've lost my energy. I usually have my energy. So, we're going to be checking in on whichever collective needs guidance the most right now. And then we got a card. Call. Expressing conversation, unblocking, hearing your voice. So it's absolutely, this is a no contact love reading. So this is like, for this specific collective, because firstly and foremost, as you know, if you've been following me at least, I figure out which collective it is first by figuring out the general lines of your story. So the specifics might differ a tiny bit, but the general feel will resonate if this is your collective. If the story in and of itself does not resonate, but you're still drawn to this, and this is of course, a timeless reading, but if you're still drawn to this, then there might still be a general message in here that's resonating with you and your soul and all of that. But this right collective is definitely something about your love situation right now. You're not talking. And you are missing them. But it's probably like going in and out. So you're not necessarily constantly, this right collective, you're probably not constantly in this despair emotion. I'm sensing like you still get stuff done. Yeah. Okay, but let's see. That's kind of defining this collective. Let's just see what's going on. What's the story for this right collective? I was also drawn to a different deck, so we're going to be using both to figure out the story. But, well, that might actually have been, oh no, water signs. But again, with emotions and the waves. But there might also actually be water signs involved here. Or people that hold the traits of water signs. So it's like emotional, not necessarily overly emotional, but you never know. Because, water signs. But you're very tied to your intuition in that case. So that might be both of you guys, like both the right collective and the person on your mind, or it might be you or it might be the person. Doesn't really matter. But, or just, traits. Or it might also have something to do with the sea, just because that was literally, but with the emotions and all of that. Like the first card that I was just flipping over the deck and figuring out. Not so much figuring out as I was really drawn into it. It was really strange. And then we're just going to check with this other deck as well. So what's the story? What's going on here? Oh, what's the story for this right collective? What are we now? Childhood wounds. Wait, I'll just see if I can get some more cards. Whoa, good news. That's good. Whoa, okay, just flipping out here. That's nice. Family and love redefined. Reconcile. Okay, let's see. So, water signs. There's something with water. Definitely here. And of course, the no contact thing is a thing. And the first thing that popped out was childhood wounds and retrieve. No, yeah, retrieve. So I'm just going to read it first. Your inner child is looking to heal, so you can move on by understanding the situation. Wait, maybe if I put it like this, you can also kind of see it. Can move on by understanding the situation in a new light. Going within to heal requires self-love and compassion. Gaining perspective through energy work or therapy can be very helpful in assessing tools to empower your inner child. I actually provide tools, just so you guys know, and I will give them to you guys for free if you contact me, and you're like, I need tools. Just do that. But it may or may not help you, I don't know. It's more for shadow work. The tools that I have are very much for shadow work. And also, I have some very masculine specific tools because I get lots of masculine energy, actually. I read lots of masculine energy. But, okay. And then we also have good news, which is wonderful. Positive energy. Your prayers have been heard. Good news is on the way. The universe wants you to have expectancy of positive outcomes in your life. You have the power to manifest what you desire of your highest good by co-creating with Source. Now is the time to celebrate and childhood wounds retrieve, and then positive energy and good news. So what I am sensing is a shift. It's for this right collective, there's a shift that either is going on or should be going on, where you're kind of moving from this wounded child, or your wounded inner child, so it's shadow work, is craving for you to walk with a more positive outlook on things. So it's like you walk with hope and not anxiety. You're being driven by what you want, positive outlook, and not what you fear. It's still a love reading. But it's also very much these two cards, they fell out together. So the first one was family dynamics, and the second one was love redefined. So family dynamic, it says reconcile. Your family is requiring time to heal. Issues that have created a wedge or unrest, we all need support as we move forward, and having an open, loving family unit is essential. But I am very much feeling that this is with childhood wounds. So it's the family dynamic that you grew up with that created, of course, your childhood wounds. We all have them. It's like you don't have to have gone through the most tragic or even the most traumatic experiences as a child to bring with you wounds. I mean, we all have stuff that we need to work with because we've only felt as much pain as we have felt, and you're very much allowed to accept your kind of felt max as your felt max. You don't look towards others and be all, oh, but they probably had it worse than me, and I should not be feeling pain, and I'm so selfish and self-centered for even feeling like this. It's like, no. You have a right to your emotions, to your lived experiences, no matter what they are, and we all bring with us something. It's just what we do. And usually we all bring with us something that we try to fix in our adults' relationships, particularly our first ones. But if we don't actually stop to work on the issues, then a lot of us do actually have these issues, particularly in romantic relationships, from basically our own family unit and until the day that we enter our grave, But you don't have to. You can work on it. Everything. You can absolutely work on it. You can break a cycle. If it's a family cycle, if it's your own cycle, you can break it. But you have to do it consciously. First you have to see the cycle. First you have to see your pattern. But after you have seen it, oh, that's with the positive energy. I think this collective, you know what your pattern is, or your family pattern, or whatever it is, but you know what your childhood wound is. It's just that right now you are being called to walk with positive energy and not with anxiety. Don't view the world from the patterns that you have seen growing up and in your relationships as you've grown into an adult, sort of, or current relationships. I'm not just talking romantic here, I'm talking in general. It's from a very young age. This is just because it's how our brain works, right? This is to save energy. We recognize patterns. And that's marvelous because it's very energy demanding to be analyzing, and to be, like, in general, thinking is extremely energy demanding. So what we do instead is we have preconceptions. We experience something, and we've experienced it enough times that we just view it as the universal truth. Like, imagine a child that holds a ball, or no, a spoon. Let's go for a spoon. And like a young child, all right? And they're learning to eat or something like that. And you hand them the spoon, and they just keep on throwing it down on the floor, and you have to go down and you pick it up and you give it back to the child, and every single time they will throw it down and they'll start laughing, and you'll be like, haha, this was fun the first 10 times. Could we move on now, please? No, they can't, because they're tiny scientists at this point, and they are figuring out a truth, a pattern. And the pattern is, if I throw this on the floor every single time, it is being brought back up to me like magic. Or a different example is if a child has, a very young child again, has a ball, and they throw it down some stairs. Every single time they throw it down, it will be bouncing down the stairs, right? And it won't come up again. And that happens every single time. And so a child can throw it down and then run down, pick it up again, go to the top of the staircase and just throw it down again. Or, make someone else go and pick it up for them. And then they'll do the exact same thing, because they didn't want to run down themselves, but they still want to check the scientific facts of it all. Like, is this a universal truth? And what they're doing is they are creating, it's called schemas, I think, in English, in their brain of how the world works. And we have done the exact same thing when it comes to love and relationships and whatnot, based on how we have energetically seen our parents behave towards each other, how we have energetically, I'm not seen, yes, what we've seen, but what we've heard. It's like the entire thing. The words we use with children to kind of teach them stuff, that's a tiny fraction. In general, I don't remember the percentage, but in general, our spoken words, they do not really it's not our main form for communication. What we actually communicate with, well, I mean, we do communicate with our words, but they just don't have that same conviction to them as we often might think that they do. The best way of communicating, it's not the best way because it's the way we do it anyways, is through what we do and the energy that we send off. Like, I'm thinking about, like, for example, mood, but it's kind of like when you come home from work, you might be extremely low on energy. That's being picked up. You don't have to say anything. It's just being picked up by the child, right? Or if there's tension between you and your partner, like again with the children aspect, because I'm talking about your childhood, right? For the right collective. Everything comes to my mind for a reason, so this may or may not be part of your story, but these are good examples. So if, for example, your mother and your father were having some sort of tension between them, they never even had to quarrel in front of you. And they never had to say a thing. Because you can feel the energy, you can feel the tension between what's actually going on between people. And you can see this as an adult and you can see this as a child. Like, it doesn't have to be the romantic thing. You know, if two persons, if no, there's something going on here between these two. Or if it's like, I feel like there's like this weird vibe between you guys. Like, do you even like each other? Like, we can feel that. But then there's also what we do. And what we tolerate. And how we react to the things that are done towards us, to the things that we are experiencing in life in general. It's not the spoken word that informs a child of how the world works. It's part of it, but it's mostly everything else. And then the total sum of that turns into a schema. This is love. And I am going to seek that out when I become an adult. What my mother and father had, I am going to seek out. How my mother or father treated me, or rather what I felt was missing, what I could never achieve with them. I will seek out that same pattern with a different adult, which is then, my loving whatever, like partner or spouse or just, temporary relationships, like very tiny part of your life. Like, it's a tiny one. It's a short relationship. But you will seek out all of those things in a partner until romantically, but also in friendships. But specifically, it's very noticeable when it comes to romance. And you will seek that out until you see the pattern, but it's never enough. You can't just see the issue. And then actually work on it. Work through it. Usually it's, walk through the fire in some sense or way. But it all ends up with the same thing, which is more self-love, without the need to gain it from others. So authenticity. So when we find ourselves, we stop looking for us in the eyes of others, because we don't have to. It doesn't mean that the opinions and whatnot of others suddenly becomes redundant. It's more that it doesn't actually affect the broader way of how you view yourself, because you become more secure in yourself and you can withstand the perceptions of others, and you also feel more calm around the fact that however other people are treating you or how they are viewing you, positive or negative, it doesn't really matter. It is absolutely 100% yourself that defines yourself. But for this one, for this specific collective, you are redefining all of this. What you had, the schemas that you brought with you from childhood, your childhood wounds, you are currently, I won't say mending it, it's just that you're taking a bit more of a critical look at it. And you're like, maybe perhaps at this point in time, it is advisable for me to make some changes, because we usually don't with these. We just, or rather, change to our schemas don't happen automatically necessarily. We can add to it, but we also have a lot of ego very often that comes up to protect these schemas, because it's like, yeah, but this is the world as it is. Like, I have so much proof that proves this. But you know, all swans are not white if you can find one black. You can say yes, but that's the what's it called, the exception that proves the rule. But it doesn't matter, because all swans are clearly not white if you can find a different color. I'm literally now using an example from philosophy class, so it's not mine. We could have gone with a different color. We could have gone with a different animal. But the point is, for this right collective, you have experienced something different. Or you wish to experience something different. But I'm thinking it's the person that you are in no contact with, you experience something different. And you are redefining now how love looks like. So let's just read this one too. Love redefined, romance. Cupid has entered your heart and has awakened you to love and romance. But this time on a different vibration. Having a newfound love for yourself has created an opportunity for a new chapter with the possibility of cultivating healthy relationships. So you're also moving out of toxic patterns. Well, I mean, childhood wounds, that's being stuck in those patterns, trying to fix and relive constantly, and then trying to fix your childhood wounds via the exact same sort of loops. That's not going to work out very well, because you need to break the loop. If you wish to break out of it, you need to literally just walk away from it, break it, do something different. It's like if you always take a specific path home, analogy wise, then choose a different one. If you always walk the easy downtrodden path, but you know that if you walk through the forest or a meadow or whatever, or just like this non-scary, or maybe it is scary, I don't know, but like this secret path, then you would still make it home. You know that. Or maybe you don't, but then you can also just go and check, you know. There's Google Map for everything. But it's testing something different to see if you might not actually also be getting something different, which I think is beautiful. This is actually really good. But you are in no contact. But you are also redefining love for yourself, which is amazing. But what I am curious about then is what's in store for you? How can you more easily move into this? Because you are redefining love. But you are in no contact. It could also be that it is these positive things that are simply putting you in a state where you are redefining your schemas on love. Well, I want to give you some, which is beautiful. All of this is beautiful. I'm like, the only real issue here then is that, I'm sorry, because I don't know if that's the only real issue. But what I'm sensing is that you have this thing where you're in no contact and you'd like to be in contact. But you're also going a bit like in and out of not the wanting in itself, but the emotions that are tied to wanting this contact to reemerge. So I'm still feeling it, like I'm a bit mellow. I don't like it. God damn. So I wanna check. Okay. I was going to be like, let's check what your emotions are towards the person, but clearly they have to be positive, since they're redefining your view of what love can be into a very healthy thing. So let's just rather check sort of with the universe or whatever it is that you believe in, but a higher power. Give me a higher love. So let's check how they are viewing this relationship of yours. Sort of, was it just a catalyst? Whoa, 6 of Cups. Remembering the past. Oh no, this is absolutely not just a passing thing. Someone returns from the past. Revisiting, like this is... No, it's... That's not what it's saying, at least. This was not a passing thing. It was not just a catalyst. So let's see then. What is this? Sort of. I'm sensing that I want a different deck, but okay. Let's just check what comes out. Ooh, let's see. The sun. Look at this. It's happiness. It's freedom. It's optimism. This is optimism. Success, warmth, vitality, truth, and yes. This is beautiful. Oh, yeah, I didn't actually show you it. Here. This is beautiful. Let's see if something else pops out. Yeah, we got a different card. Chariot, strength of will. So that's also amazing. Forward movement, determined willpower, success, control, and taking action. Travel, but focus. Whoa, 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 what is this? Okay, and then we got a different one. It's 2 of Swords. Oh, and it landed like this. So, frozen within... Oh, you're frozen. Because also landed on top of the chariot, which is like, you know, take action, move forward, do the thing, strength of will. But then you're like, frozen with indecision, unclear path, withholding, avoidance, stalemate, obstacle, impasse. But it's also, it also landed like this. It's like, kind of looks like a roadblock. Okay, ow, I'm being attacked here. Oh, okay, so the thing that is sort of the frozen thing is lovers upside down, misaligned values, discord, disharmony, trust issues, disconnected and imbalanced. But then you also have High Priestess, the right side, or, you know, subconscious mind, bridge between worlds, divine feminine, sacred wisdom, inner knowing, diving deep, illumination, higher self, mysterious, intuition, and calm. So what I am sensing here is battle between head and heart. You're not listening to your intuition, and you are instead letting your anxious thoughts, of course you are, that's what this was for, right? The positive energy, you are not being guided at all. Right now, you are, every step that you clearly do not take, actually, because you're in stalemate mode and you're just like, I'm frozen. So every step that you are not taking is driven by anxious thoughts. My energy is coming back. Nice. I'm back, peeps. Nice. So that mellow feeling, you'll be feeling that. This right collective, you are feeling that, and you're probably coming in and out of it like a wave, like a tidal wave. But it's also probably a tidal wave between this head and heart. But it's not heart, it's the entire body, because we feel with our entire body. And I mean that biologically and also brain-wise, because yes, we have a brain and that does a lot of cool stuffs, it really does. And it's really nice for, doing the whole logical thinking and all of that. But you cannot be logical unless you also listen to the rest of your system, because it doesn't work like that. You have to be in tune with the rest of you. Intuition we have just as every other possible animal to be listened to. We have intuition to survive. And we have done research on this, and the research says, I cannot quote the specific papers, I can only quote the scientists that I was watching, who were quoting different scientific articles, which I have not read personally, but I am a trusting person. Clearly you guys are not, this Right Collective. Work on that, because the world is not out to get you. And it isn't. It's part of your childhood schema. And you should be, not fixing, but just like realigning that schema to fit with this as well. That's just while you're at it, while you're down there and like writing new rules in your schemas, just do that as well. People are usually nice, and the world is not out to get you at all. In fact, if you stop thinking that, you're going to experience lots of marvelous things, because our brains will also always serve us whatever it is that we think and focus on, because we are telling our brain exactly what it is that we want our brain to notice and see and bring in more of in our life. So if you are focusing on your anxious stuff, well, you're going to be bringing in more to be anxious about, because the brain is like, nice, I see how important anxiety is for you, and I see how much this feeling and these obstacles define your life and makes you who you are. But that's not what we want. Instead, if you start focusing on the positive, your brain is also going to be finding all the positive and all of the solutions, and it's going to be like, I see. We have now changed what we prefer to notice and bring in more of. Quite literally, it's not magic. It's biology. It's brain. It's how our brains work. It's how our bodies work. It's how we work. And I'm not going to be like, as a machinery, because we're not a fucking machinery. We are a tiny little universe. And if you focus on what brings you joy, what brings you pleasure, what brings you peace. I'm just going to underline that, because that's sort of what we want. It's peace. So if you focus on that, your brain is going to bring in more of it. And also it's going to find solutions for whatever it is that okay, I know what you're struggling with. But you can't find that in your head. You're never going to get out of your frozen state from an anxious place. You have to put away that anxiety. You have to. Okay. What you do is, it's just a thought experience, okay? It's a very easy one even. It's going to feel insane. I got this actually from someone else years ago, and I thought it was the stupidest advice I had ever heard. Literally. And I was doing it in spite. I was literally doing that in spite. I was doing it to disprove its efficiency. Sadly, that's not what happened. It was actually a good thing, though. And it is. It's so simple. The thing that you should instead, every time you end up in this anxious place, what if everything works out? Because it could. What if all of your wildest dreams come true? Because you do have this intuition that is telling you it could. It's just that your brain is coming in and being all, I have gone through so many stuffs before. Oh, the amounts of balls and spoons I've thrown down, and it's the exact same thing that happens every single time. Yes, But, and I should have probably been using like a different kind of experience, no, like thing, but because my point is, the reason that things always ended up the same was because you were always existing in the same. I'm thinking about family system, right? And so things would always end up the exact same because you were also always seeking out the exact same. In love, in life, in general. Let's see if there's anything more that's coming out, because now we know what the issue is. You're in stalemate. But you put yourself there, kind of. It's not true. Like, I'm not blaming here, okay? But what I'm meaning is that what I am seeing here is there are very few. You got the sun. It's the absolutely most positive card you can get. And in this deck, no matter if you get it, you got it the right way though, but if it, like the, whatever. But even if you got it the upside down way in this deck, it's very specifically still amazing. Like, so amazing. It's still like, okay, if it had been upside down, it's still like, just have fun, count your blessings, play, authentic self, permission slip, supremely optimistic, and yes, but you didn't get it like that. You got it the right way. So it's like radiant energy rush, happiness, freedom, optimism, positivity, warmth, vitality, success, truth, and yes, with an exclamation mark. Like this, you could not get anything better. Like, this is the most positive of the positive cards. But your head is stopping you. It's what you're focusing on, because you are not focusing on the positive things. You're not listening to your body. You are stopping yourself. Your brain is putting you in, and it's your thought pattern, and it's there for a reason. I'm not at all undermining it, but you don't have to exist there. It's because you are redefining all of the things that, love could be and love should be and whatnot, which is beautiful. You're really working on those childhood wounds that you brought with you from your family dynamic. Now, you've been trying to fix through relationships as an adult. It's not possible to do it like that. If you seek out the same, you will get the same. And that's, I think, part of it, what you are redefining, which is lovely. But you need to, it's more than just seeing the patterns. It's more than just sort of redefining the possibilities of it. You have to believe in it. But we can't, it's like with affirmations. They only work if you are emotionally convinced of the truth in the affirmations. So you have to find proof, but you have proof. You have proof, which is this, like, whomever it is that's on your mind, that's your proof. Part of it at least. But I can assure you, quite likely at least, you also have more proof in your life, but you need to let your brain notice it. And you do that by noticing the positives instead. What if everything works out? What if? Let your brain wander to the what if of everything working out. Because if you let the brain wander to that aspect, it's not just being like, it's not just cutting short the anxiety loop. It is also actually allowing your brain, while you're doing different stuff, sis, or also that stuff, but you're allowing your brain to actually wander off in that direction. And so it will start looking for ways to make it end right? Which is lovely. Part of why we are also including the rest of our system, not just this top thing. You know, it's beautiful, it's marvelous, it's all of those things that we talk about generally, not me, not us, but I suppose here as well, but like science and whatnot, the conviction, whatever, that thing that we all have, you know, with the brain as the super thing, computer, whatever, of our machinery stuff. Yes, it is, but it's not, it doesn't work on its own. It doesn't. It works with the rest of your system. And you need the rest of your system because it actually stores, well, I'm going to say memories. But experiences, yes, that's what it stores. Which is why you listen to your intuition, which isn't up here. Your intuition is in the rest of your system. It's not, it's a feeling that you get. Not necessarily with words. The words, you have, what's it called? I wanted to say thoughts, but it's like, that's a bit off calling it that. But before you get language, it's not like nothing is going on in here before you get language. There's actually stuff that's going on. You still have, you know, memories, experiences that you store and that you not recreate, well, perhaps, but what's the English word? You like when you get it back, like you retrieve, yes, to understand the world around you, to make decisions and figure out stuff, you know? You don't usually have language when you're throwing that spoon down on the floor, and yet you're still a tiny little scientist and you're storing those experiences in your schemas. But we don't do it with language. And all of our experiences are stored like that. Also as adults. It's that felt something, you know? When you can just feel it. But when you are just feeling it, you're also going all, yeah, but is that logical though? Does that really make sense? It's not good. You're also removing all your magic. I was like, I'm not talking about like magic, let's make spells and stuff like that. I'm talking about like the flame in your soul, like your life force, the thing that just makes life a little bit more sparkly. You still have it, it's just that you're barging it. Whenever it pops up, you're just like, nope, I ain't gonna do that. But has it really done you all that good to, for some reason, not combine these two? I'm sensing that perhaps when you were only listening to this, trouble might have arisen or whatever. It's like not your intuition, but like you just did what you kind of felt you should be doing. But that's an impulse, and it's not like oh, we're acting in line with our true impulses. No, it's this like it's a craving, you know, but an instant one. It's like, for example, if you're on a diet, which I've never been on, so I wouldn't really, like, my point is I don't really know how that works. But I have been on like a reverse diet where I tried to put on weight, and what was my point? I was doing something with a diet, but yeah, okay, so yeah, it doesn't work with the reverse diet thing, I think. Oh, it does, because I can forget to eat. So, but okay, in my case, is I forget to eat. But if I forget to eat, that also means how am I going to be like aligning with this diet thing that I've been doing? But it's not an impulse. It's more something else. It doesn't matter. Let's say that you're on a diet. We're back to that now. And someone is putting like a bowl of something. No, you walk into the store and you're like, I'm not gonna buy anything, not gonna buy anything, not gonna buy anything. I'm not. But then, you know, there's chocolate everywhere or something else that is like, but I really want that. But if you actually grab that, it's not a true impulse, right? It's a sudden impulse of the moment, something you just wanted, here and now. I've done fasting once, only once. It's years ago. But what I learned from that is there is a huge difference, and it's felt. If you ever want to like get in touch with your body, and you're open to very weird ways to doing that, fasting can actually help you. But you have to do it over several days, and I would do it like follow a plan of some sort. But so don't just like do it and be like, oh, well, I forgot to eat for 7 days. Fasted. Which I could probably do. But my point is that when you do it, when you do the fasting thing, you can feel the difference of real hunger and just wanting. And real hunger is undefined, sort of. Like you can feel it in your body and stuff like that, but you won't be craving it's more something that simmers, is how I remember it. It simmered under the surface, sort of. It never came like this, ever. Not a hunger, not a true hunger. That was more of a, oh my god, I crave chocolate, or oh my god, I really want that thing. But then, if you were riding out that wave, because it was intense and it got absolutely intense as well. But when you ride that, it just disappears. It dissipates. Literally, it dissipates. But the true hunger does not. However, if you do fast for a long enough time, and I did it for like 7 days, but it was measured, so it wasn't like no food for 7 days in my case. I don't really remember how many days I went without any food. But at the last day, it was kind of euphoric, so it was it felt very good, and I kind of wanted to continue on because of the euphoria. But then I didn't, though, because I was following a plan. But then when you came back to like, okay, I'm going to be eating again now, firstly you had to like take small portions. You didn't eat a lot because, you know, you had to like get the system back up running and being all like, okay, we're going to be digesting again now, by the way. And you can't just do that, right? But what I noticed was that everything that you can call like junk food, everything that wasn't actually good for you, all of those things that I had been craving, like, you know, the things where it came like this and then I wrote it out and then it just dissipated. Didn't even last that long. But it felt very long when I was sitting in it. It was torturous, actually. But at the end of it, it was like, haha, I did it. I wrote it out. I can manage my those. I don't like calling it impulses, but it is what it is, I think. Maybe I can redefine it, but I'm not going to do that here and now anyways. But what was my point? I can't remember. That was probably the big point, though. Oh, yeah, because I didn't want it. It tasted horrible. All of the candy and junk food and all of that. Because my system had kind of not cleansed it out and stuff like that, but it's kind of what it did. So my taste buds didn't enjoy it. Because it wasn't what would be giving me sort of, I want to say, true nourishment? Kind of? It wasn't what I actually wanted. But fruits and stuff like that, I loved. But I tried to eat some chocolate and I was like, oh my god, am I literally craving this? Why? It doesn't even taste that good. So unless it had like more of a natural flavor to it, then it wasn't good. And I suppose that's the getting to the essence of what you're actually craving. I might have learned that through fasting, actually. But anywho, I want to see how we can get you there. Because right now there is nothing stopping you. Not actually, it's just you are stuck here and you are not listening to not just your heart, but the rest of your system. And every time it pops up, you draw back, sort of, like a tidal wave. But you don't have to. There's nothing scary there. It's literally your self that is trying to put you on the path of something that is sunshine. But it is also something that you will have to find the strength of will to achieve. Like, yeah, this something returning from the past. It won't just land in your lap. Sadly. Let's see. I wanna see kind of. We're gonna be using these. My favorite romance deck. It's very. I was going to say vanilla. But it's adorable. I really like these. It's like the card stuck and everything. It's just, they're very, very comfortable. Oh, we got one. Before we even... Okay. This is a love reading. This is a love reading. 3 of Cups is social, right? So yes, by all means, there might be a social structure around it and whatnot, but this is very specifically a love reading. And 2 is a couple and 3 is a circus. You don't want 3 of Cups in a love reading. I am sensing that for you, it's about... It doesn't have to be, of course, that it's like... No, it's absolutely about that. You're choosing between... I'm thinking it doesn't have to be like a third-party situation. But you, this right collective, you're definitely choosing between more than one person here. And that's part of what is stopping you. You are unsure. What is the wisest? Okay. I'm sorry for laughing, but you are literally, you're like, what is the wisest and most logical thing for my feelings? How should I absolutely be choosing and walking in love? I'm not saying don't use your brain, because you should be, but you should be using all of it. And that's not what you are doing right now. I'm not even saying you should be like, because like, this is return from the past. So there's something about no contact. But I was going to say, I'm not even saying you have to choose any of these like people that you're choosing between. What you should be doing is don't think your brain can solve an issue of your heart. No, what your brain can do is like, let's make a plan on how to survive. Well, it can do other stuff as well, but like that's where it's, for you, it's anxiety. Or something in the lane of that, but I'm still going for like something that's more anxious, right? Because it's like, stop. I don't want to feel actually. But then you also actually know. You have an intuition of what you should be doing here. You know what is right. But you don't want to know. That's mostly what this is. Like, you know, but you don't want to know. And because you don't want to know, you're frozen. But also because you know, you're frozen. So this has to affect all of these. Like, I don't know how many you are choosing between, but I think it affects all of your relationships with all of these people, actually. And you're getting nowhere. You're just frozen. Of course you are, because you already know what you want to do. Like, or like, not want to do. It's more of what you what aligns with you. And this like new way of thinking and whatnot. And again, it doesn't mean that you have to like choose between any of these. Perhaps your choice is to go solo. Perhaps that's what you're really feeling is the right thing to do. It could be. But you just need to listen to yourself. Like, you really need to listen to yourself. But okay, let's see if there's anything more that comes out here. Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, God. Okay. It's not bad, but this is the devil, right? So, oh, did I even showcase this one? It's also beautiful. Look at this. Look at that. All of your options lined up. Neatly, beautifully. But you know already. Stop being so logical. You know. You also know if it should be neither, and you should just walk away. You know. But if you do need like a logical thing, what gives you the most peace? If you flip a coin, sort of. I wouldn't be doing that, but if you were to flip a coin, when you flip a coin, it's not actually about which side the coin lands on. It's not about if you get the yes or if you get the no. It's the feeling that you sit with. Where are you peaceful? Before anxiety comes in and your brain is like, nah, stop, we're not feeling, we're not doing that, we're not gonna feel right now, we're going to think about all the things that could go wrong. And they are insolvable because anxiety. Instead of, like being all positive, instead of being all, but what if it actually worked out though? What if there are solutions though? Which you're not going to sit there and be like thinking about and stuff. Well, you might be, but I'm not saying that you should be doing that. Sit down and logically solve all of these issues. First, before you can do that, you actually have to listen to your intuition and not be frozen, not be in this standstill thing. You have to actually make a choice. And again, that could be to walk away. I don't know. But right now, you are stuck in your shadows and you are stuck in a loop and you're literally chained. Look at that. This lady of the night is wearing literal chains around her ankle here. I'm hearing that Roxanne from Moulin Rouge. You know, the tango where he's like, Roxanne, you don't have to put on that red dress, sell yourself for money. No, what is it? But that's what it is, though. You don't care if it is wrong or if it is right, Roxanne. You don't have to sell your body to the night. That's what it is. I want to read this. I'm not sure why, but I want to read it. Let's see. Romance. There might be an aspect here then. Let's see. The devil. Where are you at? There we have it. So, okay. So this is the stripper. In even the most sincere happiness, there is always something perverse. You are wandering in the wilds of peril. Passion. You're wandering in the wilds of peril. Give me a sec. And even the most sincere happiness. There is always something perverse. It needs to be perfect. That's what I'm sensing. That's part of it. That's part of the thing that is kind of stopping you. But what if it doesn't end up perfect? What if it doesn't end up like you hoped? And then you're also finding those things because you're focusing on, you know, everything that can go bad. This right collective. You might have times where you're also focusing on things that could go right, but then you're also like, yeah, but like, it's not going to be as beautiful as I imagine it in my head. You're not redefining your love schemas then correctly, because we want them to be in line with reality. Remember, scientist. It's we're not going from pattern to perfection. That's not how it works. We're breaking a cycle, we're breaking a pattern, we're breaking some chains. But we're still going to be existing in reality. So yes, nothing is going to be perfect. Of course it's not. That's not how it works. And nothing is going to be forever peaceful, sort of. Like, your romantic relationship should be firstly, it should be your best friend, is my opinion. But this is how I view love, okay? So, of course, yes, there are plenty of people who are more than okay to sell their body to the night, sort of. But, like, it's more of a transactional love. And that's the thing you've been taught to. Oh, okay, yeah. So this right collective, that's what you're doing as well. Roxanne, right? Love is transactional to you. And you're kind of stuck in that still. There's still some transactional stuff that's going on for you. So you're still actually, oh, that's part of it. Yes, but everything I said up until now, yes, but you're also stuck in the thought of, if I choose this person, or that person, or the third person, or whatever person, then I do lose the thing that I got with person A or B or C or whatever, you know, letter. And now I'm unsure, transactional, and now I am unsure if I should choose A because then I get that, but I lose this. If I should choose B because then I get that, but I lose this. Or if I should choose C, but then I get that, because then I get that. Or, you know, but I will lose this. This is a very transactional way. That's what they mean. It's not misaligned values at all. That's not what it's about. You might be viewing it as, do our values align? But that's not what it is. It's, do I get the most profit from choosing this, that, or that? But it doesn't have to be abundance. It's also emotional. It's just that for you, it's also the practical. Like the material is what I mean. It's also the materialistic thing. What is the cost and what is the loss? And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing at all. But it is in this case. If you wish to actually heal that childhood wound that you are working on right now with redefining what love is, then you're going to have to, it's like with children, right? It doesn't matter what you say and whatnot. You have to act in alignment with it. Right now, you're not acting in alignment with a new way of looking at love. You're actually acting in the exact same alignment. And it can be extremely scary. Of course it can be. To suddenly choose that different path home. Sort of the previous analogy would like go through the forest or use the well-throtted, paved, whatever path home. But when you are standing there and choosing, you don't even know the road through the forest, as in the analogy, right? You cannot use that. This worked at some point in your life. It did. And if you wish to recreate the same stuffs that you have before with the same type of people that you have before, of course, then you can continue on doing it like that. It will make sense. If you continue to have the reality that you have, it doesn't have to be with like, it can be with different people than the people that you are choosing between right now. It doesn't really matter, so long as it's the same type, sort of, the same loops, the same things that you're existing in, then that's completely okay. It will work. Your tool, which is transactional love, is a tool, right? Because it worked as a child and it'll work now as well, because you've surrounded yourself with the same energy, the same type of people, the same thing. You're going through the exact same thing as you did as a child, and you're trying to fix it and you're trying to like mend it and you're trying to, but you're never gonna be able to, which is okay. Like, you don't have to make these changes. That's up to you. If you are kind of actually content, we don't always want to fix our problems. And we don't even like, if at the bottom of your heart, your soul, your whatnot, you are actually okay with how your life is right now. Like, you're okay. When you look around, you're like, I don't actually want to change when I'm thinking about it. Like, I can look around and it's like, yeah, there could have been improvements. Yeah, I could be a bit happier. Yeah, I could have been more peaceful. Yeah, I could, whatever. But I don't actually want change. Then that's okay, but you have to find peace with that. Because then you can continue on using this tool that you have. You can continue on being all like, well, cost sync, whatever, like, when, you know, it's transaction. It's a transactional sort of deal. And love, this actually hurts my soul. I don't want to say it like, for many people, that is love. Didn't pain me at all to say. But back to the analogy. You're not choosing between a well-trodden down road or a different well-trodden down road. It's not a path you've ever walked. It's neither of those paths home that you've walked before. It's not. You're looking at these well-trodden paths or going through the forest, which you've never done. You have never walked into this before. You can't walk in there and think that your old tools can even help you in deciding whether or not you should be doing it, whether or not the cost sink. No, it's not cost sink. It's like cost effective. No, it's I don't know why I'm thinking about cost sink, but transactional. You can't be all, okay, what do I gain? What do I lose by walking into this path versus this path? If you're going to choose the forest path, you're going to have to listen to your intuition. You're going to be like, I really feel like doing this. This feels right. And I'm also sensing the whole, like, it's not like this. It didn't come over you like this in this specific setting, right? Instead, this has been like the hunger that I was talking about. It's been like an undercurrent, or rather it's been there underneath it. It's like every time you walk down your well-trodden path, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I don't know. Every single time you do that, you have this whisper of an intuition that's saying, we should actually head into the forest. Let's go in there. Let's check out that path. It's constantly, and it's pulling you and it's whispering and it's like, let's go there. Let's do that. But every single time you freeze and you disconnect it. you don't want to listen to your intuition. Because instead of focusing on the things that you could gain, and it's not like in the transactional sort of way of thinking of it. It's not like all of the glorious stuff that you could gain if you went in there. It's more of the hope of something else, the spark of joy, that's kind of your soul shouting to you, oh, go and do that thing. It's the positive energy. It's life itself. It's the sun. It's happiness. It's all of that. That's whispering to you. But instead, it's more of the, what can I lose if I do that? Maybe that dreaded wolf that took Red Riding Hood's, old grandma pops out. And then decides that I look delicately as well. And I should also be, eaten or whatever. It's all of the anxious stuff. All of the things that you could lose. And not the adventure. So that also means that life in itself must feel very stagnant for this right collective. Because expansion, you can't really use this with. In general, this collective, unless you are very sure in your analysis of what do I gain and what do I lose materialistically, unless you're very sure of that, superficially is what I'm sensing. Unless you're very sure that superficially you are gaining much more than what you would be losing or giving up, losing out on. It's like fear of that FOMO thing is ringing in my ear for some reason. But unless you're very sure, in general, you wouldn't be doing it. So in general, you stagnate yourself in life. In general, you will never choose what could potentially not give you more than what you have. I am not a gambler at all. But I do know for a fact no one gained anything from not being willing to risk anything. And I'm not saying risking the loss or whatnot. You should be, of course, feeling safe and you should be feeling like you have some sort of control. But in your case, your need for control is so big and so large. Your need to win. Like whatever it is that you choose, it needs to be the winning horse, right? But superficially. You're not even checking in with yourself. It's like your actual felt reality. You're not even checking in there. It's like, here, it's calculations. This is mathematics. Like, yeah. This right collective, you are leading your life with what can I lose? And unless what can I gain out numbers what you can lose superficially, then you won't do it. In general. And if you wish to actually heal this childhood wound of yours and actually get this redefined way of looking at love, if you actually wish to get out of no contact. If you actually wish to get this someone returns from the past, the sunshine, you are going to have to find some strength of will to actually listen to your intuition and do the scary thing, which is to take a chance. You don't take chances. Taking chances is not gambling. Gambling is, impulse stuff. But if we are going to bring in gambling, then, which we clearly are, because we have been, everything in life is a gamble. Just because you did some mathematics, just because you were like, okay, I have done all of what will I lose, what will I win, all of the transactional stuff says, I have calculated them and they fit my schemas perfectly. You're not guaranteed anything at all. You really are not. Things can change like this because the world is more than you. What happens in the world, also in your closest, stuff that happens to you with the people closest to you, the situations that you are involved in. I'm thinking about like job or school or whatever. You are not the kind of the overlord of the hive mind. So it's not like with all of your calculations, you've now figured out everything and everything will go as planned. It doesn't work like that, because there are individuals in all of that. There are people that may or may not be doing the exact same thing as you are, making plans and being all like smart, I suppose, about stuffs. But firstly, you might be so smart, all of these people, including yourself, that you are kind of like outsmarting yourself as well as the people around you. So, you might have thought that one thing could or should be happening because you did all of the right things. Like I put down all of the right work. I put in all of the right approaches and I stuck to it, and I did A and I did B, and yet person X, they didn't even give me the thing that I feel like I deserve now because I followed the schematics. It should have ended like I wanted it to end. But then it doesn't, because they are their own person and individual, right? And they might be doing the exact same thing. They might also be looking at you being all like, what do I win, what do I lose by involving myself with you? But it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be anything, right? My point is, you can plan for as much stagnation as possible. That you can do, where you're just like every single point of change, with yourself, you're going to be like, nah, that ain't happening. It's not entering me and my sphere. You can stay in that delusion if you so desire, but you cannot plan out how the world and events are going to go. The only thing you can truthfully do is listen to yourself and roll along with it. Let life actually unfold. You're going to feel life again. You might not have done that since you were a child, because you're not letting wonder lead you. You're not letting the possibility of expansion lead you. I genuinely feel like this is the reading. There is nothing more to add to this. For this right collective, if you wish to break this no contact thing, And if you wish to heal your childhood wounds, if you wish to get out, break free from your, what was it was called? Frozenness, frozen with indecision, unclear path, withholding, avoidance, stalemate, obstacles, impasse. If you wish any sort of movement in your life, because movement will happen anyways, it's just that you either move along with it or you're like, I don't want change whatsoever. Change will happen anyways. It's just that you either can partake in it or you cannot. Choose not to, rather. And then too, it's like for so long and then change happens anyways, because that's the way of life. That's the way things work. The world moves on even if you do not. Life moves on even if you do not. Time passes even if you don't like it. Change is the only constant. And it's okay to be afraid of it. But you're not going to be able to know for certain that the choices that you make are the absolutely best choices you could make. It doesn't work like that. You listen to your intuition as well as your head, of course. Yes, I'm not saying don't listen to it. You find some balance in it. Some sort of like inner union, if you like, where all of your system is listened to and not mostly guided by your head. What if everything ended well? I don't remember the wording. That's what you should be asking yourself. And that's how you will break this. And that's how you will find the strength for forward movement. Because right now there will be no forward movement until you can. Right now you will be stuck until you can start listening to yourself and act in alignment with it. Act in alignment with what you know is right for you. And only you. I'm not saying be self-centered and selfish. But I am saying you have to listen to yourself truthfully to make a good decision. You can't make a good decision with your brain alone and anxiety and transactional. Well, I mean, it depends. If you want to change, you need to actually... If you want different, you need to do different. If you want to experience something more, something else, well, you need to do more. Not necessarily, like, do more, but, like, you need to be bold enough to be more than what you're allowing yourself to be right now, which is just in the head. And also only transactional. But you need to embody what you want to have. If there's a whisper that you should be heading into the forest, you're never going to experience the forest until you actually walk into it. And you cannot plan for what you do not know. Can't plan for... Or rather, you could even, like, end up planning away. What you can do is, like, have some general safety stuff that you're following along. Like, I'm mostly, at least, going to follow the path when I'm in the forest. That could also be boring, though, because what if there's something really exciting that's outside of the, like, you know, path? Like the flowers and stuff like that. Or birds. Or anything else that's really cool. Or frogs. Or, like, what's it called? Not a meadow, but, I don't remember the word for this at all. But like water. That just... Where the frogs would live. I can't remember what this is called. whatsoever. Doesn't matter, probably not important, but you can have general safety stuff if that makes you feel safer, of course. But you need to walk into the forest to create any sort of schema around the forest. Because you don't know what's in there. You have no idea. You have to walk in there to figure it out. And then you have like this exciting new adventure, which you need to also let yourself experience. And yes, you might fall. And yes, there might come a wolf. And yes, it might eat your grandmother. But you could also, have the adventure of your life and then end up with like, the huntsman person thing, whatever, just suddenly appeared, and he would have never appeared suddenly and, released you and your grandmother unless you had been eaten first. Because he would probably be doing other stuffs, and so you also provided this huntsman person with an adventure. How very nice and kind of you. But none of you would have this adventure unless you went out there and you got eaten alongside your grandmother. I feel like I have gone off track. And also that this reading is more than long enough. Point being, you have to live to live. Okay? You can't just listen to your head. It's not all transactional if you don't want it to be all transactional. If you want unconditional love, you can't be giving conditional love. If you want to receive, you need to give first. You give first. Whatever you want to receive, you give first. It's like the opposite of the Cold War, sort of. It's like, I trust you will not bomb me and my country. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna bomb you in your country. I'm not even going to be like, you know what, if you're ever going to bomb me in my country, I would bomb you so hard first. You're just like, I'm just thinking we all want to live on this planet. And so neither of us are going to be doing any of that bombing stuff at all, actually. And then, et voila. No Cold War. For you or these other people, persons in love and stuff, Okay, I have nothing more to add to this reading. I hope this helped. If it did, do all the usual stuff, comment, like, and follow, or whatever it's called. And until next time, au revoir.